Hi everybody, let's take a look today at the song The Story by Brandi Carlile. This is a real belter, so I hope you've warmed up your voices. I love this one. We're going to play it in the key of A with the pop progression. We've been looking at that. In the key of A, typically it'll go in this sequence. A to E7 to F sharp minor to D. Now that may be a new one for you all, so let me break it down, and I have an option for your E7 chord too. I'm going to play A with my index finger on the first fret of C, middle on the second fret of G. G, that is, the one closest to me. Then I'm going to go to E7, and I can swap these fingers here on the strings, keeping the frets there, right? So index is now on the first fret of G, middle's on the second fret of C, ring finger's going to come in too on the second fret of A. You're welcome to play that, A to E7. Now, on this particular tune, and sometimes when I'm just not feeling the sevenness of it, I'm going to go for an E7 suspended chord. It sounds a lot fancier than it actually looks. From this A chord, I'm going to take my index finger, move it up to the second fret of C, and then reach out my ring finger to the fourth fret of G. That has just a little bit of a different sound there, right? It doesn't quite sound like an E chord. It's not quite an E chord, but it's going to work really nicely in this particular song. I just encourage you to have it in your back pocket. You're welcome to play E7 or E7 sus4. Doesn't it make you sound cool to be able to say that? Either one will work just fine in the place of whatever E chord you want to play, right? So the second chord of the sequence. Again, that's A to E7 or E7 sus4. That's the one I'm going to be playing. And then we're going to go to F sharp minor. I like to call that A with a friend. So you make your A chord again and add your ring finger to the second fret of E. That beautiful minor sound. I love it. And then I'm going to leave my ring finger right where it is and move my index and middle to the second fret of G and C respectively. And that's my D chord. Now you may finger your D chord a little bit differently. That's just fine. Just make sure you know how to get there from your F sharp minor. All right, so once again, we've got A, E chord of your choice, F sharp minor to D. And that is our pop progression in the key of A. So let's take a look at how this pop progression fits into the story. We're going to start with 2 bars of each chord through that pop progression. And I'd encourage you to try this with me. I'm just going to strum on the first beat of each bar, so I give myself plenty of time to get from one chord to the next, like this. 1, 2, starting on A. 1, 2, 3, again. 2, 2, 3, to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, F sharp minor. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add an extra strum if you like on 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, F sharp minor. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, to D. 1, 2, 3. One more time. I'll add a full strum pattern here, just the standard. 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 2, 2, up, 3, to E. 2, F sharp minor. 2, 2, 3, 4, to D. Yeah, hear the words, all of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. Now 1 bar each, but these stories don't mean anything when you got no one to tell them to. It's true. To E, I was made. Back to A for you, and pause. That is it. That is the verse pattern. Again, we've got that pop progression, 2 bars for each chord. Then on the third line, we have just 1 bar for each chord. And this last line, it's just half of the progression, just A up to E, and then we're going to go right back to A. That sequence I took you through, I encourage you to try it on your own. Just one single strum for each chord, each measure, so you really get a chance to hear how long each chord is going to be played in the song. But it also gives you plenty of time to get to whatever the next chord is until you're more familiar with it. Then you can start to add in the strum. All about the layers. Feel free to stick to one particular layer of strumming, even if it's just single strums for each bar through the rest of this tutorial. Just know that is an exercise you can use to work your way up to the strum pattern as well. Now there's one last piece to the puzzle here after we learn the basic progression for the verse, and that is the vamp that comes at the beginning or in between. I like to think of vamping as sort of the musical version of stalling, right? It gives you a chance to take a breath, get ready to start the pattern of the song. And in this case, it's usually a very short little pattern. It either circles around or it goes back and forth between two chords. And in this case, it's going to be the latter. We're going to go one bar of A to one bar of A suspended, which you'll also see on the chart as A sus. Now what I'm doing there is taking that friend, that ring finger, and putting it on the second fret of the C string, kind of tucking it right here behind my middle finger. And musically speaking, for my fellow music nerds out there, I'm borrowing the D. This is your D note. It's almost like I'm getting ready to go to the D chord, but not quite. I'm leaving that open E there to create a little bit of suspension between the A chord and the D chord. Adding in that fourth note of the scale gives it a really nice suspended sound, like I'm sort of somewhere up in the clouds, right? It gives it some motion, some waves kind of going along here, but it doesn't move anywhere in particular. It just sort of holds us there in the moment. So I'm going to do that for one bar each. 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4. And I can do that as long as I want at the beginning and in between verses. Like I said, it gives you a chance to take a breath, get ready for the next part. And then after the suspended, then we start. All of these lines across my face. And now I'm into the verse. All right? So this is a great moment to pause, review anything that you need of the pattern, of the vamp, of the chord shapes, of the strumming. Because what I'm going to do now is just play it top to bottom from the beginning to the end. You can, as I said, leave out the strumming for now. If you're just working on the chord shapes, that's great. Or keep your strumming really rudimentary, right? By all means, make sure you've got these chord patterns down before you add in the strum pattern. Or you may not be worried about the chords today. You may just be working on your sense of rhythm, and that is great too, especially as you're getting to know the song through your ears, just getting to know kind of how the song goes and how to audiate it a little bit in your head next time you play it. You choose your own adventure. Let's play through the story. One, two, ready, and add the suspended for the vamp. Verse 1, all of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything if you got no one to tell them to. It's true, I was made for you. Thanks for belting that out with me. Feel free to come back and practice with me anytime you need. Quick note, you may have noticed that outro, we just repeated the A to the E chord back to A. Only difference was that that suspended chord was for 2 beats, right? 1 of A, 2 beats of A, 2 beats suspended, and then end back on that A. Just a little, you can end it kind of any way you want. That feels like a nice way to tie a little bow on that one. Enjoy your practice, and I'll see you for the next tune. Quick thing. If this video was helpful to you, I encourage you to consider becoming a member. It's a great way to say thank you, to help keep this channel going, and also to enjoy some extra perks and resources on your musical journey. You can learn more by clicking join below next to the subscribe button, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much.